Okay. Case Manager of the Year Award is presented annually to an inspirational leader whose contributions and dedications to the future of case management have made a positive impact on others and on the profession as a whole. Through strong leadership qualities, the encouragement of others, and continued commitment, each recipient exemplifies the highest quality of case manager. Primary criteria for this prestigious award includes leadership activities within the case management profession, which have resulted in significant influence of the industry. The recipients demonstrate mature and effective professional skills, leadership abilities, and vision. So, let us meet our 2016 Case Manager of the Year.
This year's CMOY is a registered nurse, a certified case manager, certified rehabilitation registered nurse, and board certified in case management with the American Nurses Credentialing Center. She holds a master's degree in nursing and a master's degree in healthcare administration. Kathy has been a nurse for 38 years, having worked in the emergency room, labor and delivery, and as a director of nursing. She entered case management nearly 24 years ago, creating the first case management department for a large national healthcare system. Kathy moved to workers' compensation 21 years ago, and for 16 years, she has worked as a regional team manager of Zurich Managed Care Case Management Unit. Kathy says she got into case management because she wanted to be involved in all aspects of a patient's care. Kathy believes that working with patients from start to finish makes a true difference in outcomes. Her case management philosophy was recognized when she was selected by Seek Incorporated and the National Workers' Compensation and Occupational Medicine Conference as one of the 50 most influential people in workers' compensation and occupational medicine. In addition to serving as CMSA's national president, she is also on the Role Delineation and Expert Panel Committee of the ANCC Council for Case Management, a past Treasurer Secretary of the Board of Directors for NTOC, on the Steering Committee of the National COPD Foundation, the author of the new CMSA Case Management Medication Adherence Guidelines for COPD, and a member of the National Certification Roundtable Committee. Kathy was also a co-chairman of the 2016 Standards of Practice Revision Task Force. On her career in case management, Kathy says it's been incredibly rewarding, allowing her to bring a holistic approach to patient care encompassing both physical and behavioral health. Kathy's drive and energy are infectious. She inspires everyone with whom she comes into contact to reach farther, achieve new levels, and support one another. According to her peers, there aren't many people who could manage so many roles and tasks the way Kathy does. She expertly executes on her supervisory role with Zurich while taking on the demanding position as president of CMSA. In addition to all of that, she flies around the country to meet with and speak to our local chapters on topics so near and dear to her heart. She gives freely of her time to educate, network, and mentor other case managers. And somewhere in the midst of all of that, she is most grateful for her role as a wife to David and as a mother to Shannon, Lindsay, and Neil, plus mother-in-law to Matt, and a very proud grandmother to Davin. Yet not to forget her 2 dogs, 3 cats, and 7 turtles. Over the last 2 years, Kathy has poured herself into rebuilding CMSA into an organization of rebirth and inclusion with a renewed focus on our members and chapters. Kathy is dedicated to providing additional opportunities for greater numbers of members to participate in all the aspects of our organization in meaningful ways. There is no sacrifice too big for Kathy when it comes to CMSA and our continued growth and development. She is a regular presenter both locally and nationally, is a master trainer of CMSA's Integrated Case Management Program, and is a prolific and talented author. CMSA past president Ann Llewellyn says, "I believe Kathy represents a new brand of case managers." As those who built the practice start to slow down and retire, professionals like Kathy are taking up the challenge to help the industry adapt to the changing healthcare landscape while keeping the core functions of the practice of case management in place. Kathy's favorite quote from Maya Angelou quite aptly sums up our 2016 Case Manager of the Year. "My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style." Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your Case Manager of the Year for 2016, Kathy Frazier.
Two special friends. We did reach out to Mickey Mouse at Disney, but he was busy. So don't get discouraged. We did make a call to the North Pole, and since it's off season, you have another one of your special friends here to give you your award.
Santa! Congratulations, Case Manager of the Year. Ho, 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 ho!
Y'all know, I'm up high again. I love Disney, but I love Santa even more. And I still do believe and argue with my 10-year-old grandson. No, he does believe. I mean, he is out there. You should believe. So this is so gorgeous. I've never lifted one of these, but God, it slides down. Am I the only one who's had this problem? I'm so scared it's going to get broken. Let me put it down here. I mean, that would be my Irish luck. Thank you. That's got to be Las Vegas. Oh, gosh. Okay. I did. Oh, this got left in my way. Everyone else's. And this is coming off of my minutes here. All this housekeeping. Okay. Get rid of all this stuff. I did write down a couple of things for this. I normally don't, and I can remember all, but just to make sure. All of y'all have heard, how probably then became a case manager, and I went to it a little bit if you were at our annual meeting of how my administrator, I was a director of nursing, tired of the horrific hours, and with 3 kids in elementary school, she knew I was looking for something else, suggested case management. I didn't want to do it because I didn't know what it was, didn't want to get that much further away, I thought, from patient care. Ended up, long story short, became a case manager, really relied on the kindness of other case managers. I absolutely detest that saying and always fight it of nurses eat their young. I don't believe that. There are some, but at any rate, but knew and believed if I was honest and open and told case managers, because then I was the internal case manager working with the insurance companies. If I just said, I don't know what I'm doing as a case manager, but I am a good nurse, and I was director of nursing of this facility, and I'm going to tell you the truth and tell me how I do it, and just cross my fingers. I never believe in faking it. I think a sign of intelligence is when you admit you do not know. And I never, through those years, had anyone that wasn't a case manager generous and kind and welcoming. And I've always remembered that and always tried to do the same. But at that time, my dad had emphysema, was diagnosed when I was already a nurse, but it was a good while before I was a case manager. And I really think that's where God's thumbprint then, when my dad, who died of COPD, that's why the COPD CMAG is so near and dear to my heart. when he really needed a case manager, and at that point I was a case manager. I became a case manager at about the same time he really needed one. And I still remember the horror of New Year's Eve. I'd kept him out of the hospital for years. New Year's Eve of the millennium, he's in the hospital, and that day I go in to see him New Year's Eve, and the social worker comes in and said, I hate to tell you, he had moved without asking me his Medicare to it's no longer around anymore. I won't say the name, but it ended with Gold. But they ended up in Texas, or hopefully everywhere, went out of business. But I was told that your dad needs to leave today. You can take him somewhere else. He had walked into the place. By this point, he had caught MRSA, he was bedridden, he was in a diaper. I was giving enemas on night shift for him because the nurses were so busy, and I swore to them, and I never did. You know, I will not tell, just let me do it. I know he needs this is why he's getting tacky, and et cetera, et cetera. So took care of him, but for him to leave. And I said, who on New Year's Eve of the millennium, and it was like, I think it was a Friday, it was like all the things stacked against you is going to take him. This is ridiculous. I want him off of this policy. And I had, New Year's Eve, there was one case manager in the building. She was a social worker and just my angel then. She said, I'll help you. We've got the fax machine. I can get all the papers that are for Medicare, and I'll get you the Gold that you can then sign that you do not want that, and restarting Medicare. And she got me all that, and I said, oh, crud, though, it needs notarizing. She said, don't worry about it. I'm also a notary. And so we notarized it, got it all done, got him switched where he could stay in the hospital. Then that was day one of Medicare, January 1st. So then he had 10 days in there. And within that 10 days, he was off of his antibiotic. He was starting to walk but needed some physical therapy, and we were able to then get him into a SNF unit and in a facility and get the rehab. And then when he came home, he still needed a lot of care, and I worked full time, and kids were young, but that's okay. I could handle that, and I even enlisted the kids, but that extra time was all the difference in the world. And as we went, and then he got better, and he lived with us, and only had one more hospitalization through all of that, and it was right at the end. But Daddy would always tell me, what do people do without a cath lead? And it wasn't because he meant a case manager. He knew more of what a case manager was than any healthcare professional at that time that I knew of. And so this was in 2000 when Daddy died. But it just shows the difference we can make, what we can do, and on guiding, and what every single one of us in this room can do for patients and touching their lives. I want to thank then to my support system, and my husband is here, and my oldest child, my daughter Shannon. If y'all can stand up. I didn't have him do it during. I usually do it in the big room with David. This is my husband David, and my oldest beautiful daughter Shannon. Neil was at the event last year with David, and Lindsay was the year before last, so I was excited to have Shannon here as well. And everyone I've worked with, everybody that's taught me something, everywhere I've gone, want to also, if I can, if y'all allow, I want to thank and make them, and they have no idea, I'm going to have them stand up, 3 of my nurses, my case managers, who have worked with me. I hired 16 years ago, still work with me, and one I worked with at Kemper prior, so 21 years we've been together, and the 3 of them wanted to come to be here for this, all the way from Texas, out of their own little pockets. And so if Donna, Pam, and Gail, wait, get up. I know they're going, I hate you, but you're my boss, I have to do this. They make me shine every single day and make my life and everything so much easier. And just a few, and I'm scared I'm going to miss somebody, and if I do, I so apologize. But I wanted Janet Coulter, who was such a dear, and she nominated me for this and didn't involve me until thought she could do it herself. But then there are some end questions they have to ask, and she wouldn't take me saying no for an answer, and I appreciate that so much. Deb Gutteridge and Becky Perez for always taking me under their wing, and when it came then to our integrated case management program, and they are the absolute wheel force of that they taught me everything they knew, and I haven't absorbed half of it yet, but they've always been there for me, and I love them dearly. And Sherry Latimer, our executive director, who through her guidance and knowledge and expertise and love have been such an inspiration to me. And again, and I'm sorry if I'm missing anyone, but I want as a last Anne Llewellyn, who to me was just such an icon in case management. And I was blessed enough my first year on the board, she came in as a past president, and she had been president a few years prior, but then stepped in and was on the board again, and I just felt like to be a sponge. And she has always been so supportive of me, and since I've been a president, her support, her kind words, her notes she'll give me have just meant the world. And to me, she's just the epitome of someone who just has done everything she's done in her career is really for this growth of case management, not self-serving, truly for all of us case managers. And so thank you for everyone before me and everyone I meet with in all the chapters, and I appreciate this truly with all my heart.